Okay, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing. Yes. What? Right now. Whoever wants to go come in, jump in. Honestly. You talk about what you're doing. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. It's a YouTube live stream. So nobody talks to me. Then I have other stuff that I can in theory talk about. Yeah. An hour and a half. I guess people seen it. Like, I don't know. It says 547, the previous one. So I'm like, okay, I'll take what I can get. So thanks. So I guess I'm just starting. All right, thanks. Okay, I think we're rolling. Hi, yeah, jump in, jump in.
How you doing? What's happening?
I'm doing okay.
So you're gonna be doing this tonight, then, all right?
Yeah, we're
Nice.
in. We're on right now.
Oh, you're on right now?
Yeah.
I'm actually I'm gonna wait for my my editor to show up.
Okay.
But I actually do have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
A lot to talk about.
There you go. All right, that'll work. That'll
Yeah,
work.
seriously, yeah. We've been shooting the film Midnight Owls and everything, and he's the editor, and we got another comedy thing that's gonna be coming
Okay.
up too. So yeah, but I want to get him
All
here
right,
too.
that'll work.
And that you'll
Yeah,
love his
yeah.
accent. Shake
All
your
right,
butt,
awesome. right, so we're in for episode 2. So I guess we'll just wait until other people stroll on in. But I guess in the meantime, whilst we wait for people to talk, to stop by and talk, I got I don't know. I was just reading a few different things regarding 1960s cinema in general, and also just 1960s treatises, just overall. So in particular, I have Julio Garcia Espinosa's Por un Cine Imperfecto, so for an imperfect cinema. And so part of the question that went into that particular treatise was figuring out an artistic culture for one for Latin America generally, but for this particular new environment, and to be able to juxtapose that new aesthetic and cinematic culture with the dominant Euro-American model. There's different things about it. One of the things that came up there was this idea of a certain narcissism of consciousness required in aesthetic pleasure more generally. And part of the issue I guess is if we view cinema as a process of self-actualization, then it kind of undermines whatever aims that we otherwise may have, whether social, political, etc., etc. I don't know. I'm kind of just stuck on this particular question, right? I'm kind of just stuck as to I guess I'll be more concrete, right? One of the things that I want to do with the stuff that I want to make, I'm technically an aspiring filmmaker. One of the things that I want to do with the stuff that I make is just actually create a new a new kind of aesthetic of some kind, of just something new. I personally find that contemporary cinema doesn't do enough when it comes to this. I don't think that we're pushing the envelope as far as we could, especially when it comes to what we would call representation, diversity, etc., etc. That's not to say that there are bad films or that it's only or primarily bad films, but one of the things that happens is that we those for example Latinos like myself, who end up being quote unquote elevated to Hollywood status or whatever, still have to play that game, and the cinema suffers for it. I don't know. I'm not. I guess I can only speak for that specific aspect of it, the specific framework of Latinidad and how that intersects with cinema in general. Because it's very different from the question of Latin America. Right? If we take the question of Latin America, there is enough of a history there, such that that's more workable. Third cinema is from Latin America. That's where it is. So it's a very different vibe. Those are different questions than either what you would call the Hollywood model, or even just or just trying to be a Latino in the United States doing cinema here. I don't know. I'm kind of stuck. I mean, I'm mostly just saying stuff for the purposes of waiting for others, but because I'm still relatively new podcaster, as y'all can tell. But it frustrates me. It genuinely is frustrating to me to not have that kind of advanced cinema that Latinos like myself could have.
I even remember. Okay, so I went to the Chicago Latino Film Festival, at least the opening night, back in April, back in the beginning of April. And that was fine. I think that worked for a little bit. And the film we saw was Estimados Señores, Dear Gentlemen, and that was just like general, a feel good drama about women's suffrage, like in Colombia specifically. And it was a fine film, but I think the thing that I'm still struck by is I guess the question of the institutional capture, right? Because like, I don't want to say, I don't want to fully commit to that. I will say I don't want to fully commit to that, like that concept of institutional capture, at least as it pertains to the Chicago Latino Film Festival. But because I haven't seen the other films specifically, but like, I guess because it's like it's just an aggressively political film, like it just is. But the aesthetics of it still adhere to like it feels like a Hollywood movie, like just set in Colombia, and that does maybe it makes sense to others, but that doesn't make sense to me. Like I understand like social like as far as the political economy goes, like why that is and like how like broadly speaking a particular cinema develops or doesn't develop. But I don't know. Like I figured that the history of cinema in Latin America would have it such that we could have like new frameworks to do like to at least predominate like institutions like what we call like the Chicago Latino Film Festival. So the film was fine, but I don't know, it kind of the atmosphere kind of just threw me off a little bit. So I don't know. That's how I thought about that particular day. This, I guess. Okay, so prior to doing that, prior to going to the Chicago Latino Film Festival, one of the things I did was, I read just stuff generally. It was one of the things that I was doing, especially then reading like, there's an anthology thing called just Film Manifestos and Global Cinema Cultures or something like that, and it's just a list. Well, not a list, but like just an anthology of like a bunch of like different manifestos of cinema from different perspectives, from different parts of the world for different reasons. So it's definitely worth your time to just go look at that. One of the things that came up to me, like that stood out to me, I read Pocha Manifesto #1 by Sandra Peña Sarmiento, and one of the things that comes up there in her work is that particular distinction. First and foremost, a distinction between like U.S. Latino cinema and Latin American cinema, and as well as like what you would call like white American cinema, or whatever, Anglo cinema, or whatever you want to call it. But further, like beyond that distinction, is the question of, okay, does Latin American cinema in general still hold on to some of the more like misogynistic tendencies that like that the general that many parts of the Latin American cinema have, and in order to deconstruct like like create a new image, like a proper, more modern, more holistic, for lack of a better word, like image of the Latino, like you would have to like transcend one, U.S. perceptions, and two, Latin American perceptions of the Latino, and also the, and you would also have to undercut like the misogyny from both ends. Let me go see. Maybe there'll be some folks who are willing to talk about some stuff. There are some new people. Maybe I'll try to grab them. There you go.
And we'll go over here with you.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so yeah, enough of whatever it is that I was talking about. All right, let's just do a quick test, just make sure I can hear y'all. Pretty sure I can, but
Here, can we scoot down a little
yeah,
bit?
scoot down, scoot down.
And then,
There are 4 mics, so there are 4 mics. Okay. I don't know.
let me just do this right here. And there we go.
All right.
All right. Oh, sorry.
I guess we'll just go down the line. Just everybody introduce yourselves just quickly, like name and just what do you do in general, and then we can get into our projects. And you have to speak into the mic closely so I can hear.
I'm Mo Diab. I do everything. Right now, I guess I'm a producer, but I've done everything from PA to directing as well.
What's going on here?
You want to introduce yourself and say what it is, I guess, you'd be interested in doing.
I'm Ethan. I'm a prospective student, cinematography student in the fall. So
Is you have it started off?
Make sure to
any
speak into
classes?
the mic. Sorry, I'm not
Oh.
trying to.
Have you?
Oh,
You have
sorry.
you have it started off in like
can bring it out
classes or
if you need
anything,
to.
or no?
what'd you say?
Any? Have you had any classes yet at all, or no? Is this like your first
I've,
involvement in filming?
Experimented a little in. I've already in my undergrad.
You said in undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
What have you done if you've done anything?
So I've done some like Film 101, some film classes, making films and stuff in a classroom setting.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, seriously. I remember. So I never went to like any classes or any school for filming, but I got into it through like just interest, I guess, and like learned as I went along from like everybody around. So it's fun and it's tough to get into it, but it's just getting that first the first step in, and then as soon as you do that, it just everything starts kind of rolling in, and it's awesome. It really is.
Okay, thank you. I hope so. I'm willing to step in.
That's good. What would you want to be doing kind of going in the future? Like, so you're just starting off right now, right?
Mhm.
So would you be interested in like doing like directing or acting mostly, or like what direction would you want to go into in film?
Right now, I'm interested in cinematography and like being behind the camera, but directing also seems cool to me. I'd love to I kind of work on my own like personal projects a little bit on the side, but they're not much.
I'm curious as to like what draws you into cinematography, like specifically. Is it just like I don't know.
I just I love visual storytelling. You know, I just think you can say so much. I never been like that into like reading in school and like English, but I've always been super interested in just the visual story. You know how much you could say with like one image. You know.
Oh, I don't know. You want to jump in, Ruth?
What?
I don't know if you want to jump in. I don't want to make sure that no one's like left out or anything.
I'm just listening to the conversation. I mostly do acting these days, so like I said, occasional screenwriting. So I've been doing it quite a long time, and I just like entertaining people and either making them laugh or cry and helping them just sort of get away from their own daily problems. So
Well, how many projects have you like worked on?
I have around 70 IMDb credits, but
Wow,
that doesn't count commercials, industrials, improv, stuff like that.
Do you do mostly like independent work? Do you do for?
I will say, thank you for asking. My claim to fame is I have been in a Marvel show.
Oh, you have.
Yes, I have.
Oh wow, which one?
I'm in She-Hulk
Oh really?
on
Okay.
Disney Plus, and yeah.
Is there like a specific episode where
Yes,
you're like a
I'm
recurring
in
character?
episode 3,
Okay.
and I'm a former lawyer in real life,
Uh-huh.
and I think perhaps that maybe helped me be a lawyer on the show.
All right, nice.
And
Now
I-
I'm gonna have to watch the show. I haven't
Yes,
watched
episode 3. I represent a shape-shifting light elf who turns into Megan the Stallion, who is in the episode.
That's so cool. Though.
So that's why it's a claim to fame, and because it's just Marvel is just so huge, of
Yeah.
course, compared to. I mean, indie films are great.
Right.
I'm not meaning, I've done a
Right.
bunch of those, and I love doing those too. But you just can't compare to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Your actual face being everywhere. Yeah. No, that's amazing though.
Thank you.
What like have you? What else have you done? Like what's your favorite project that you've worked on though?
I would have to say. That's hard to say. I mean, I would say Marvel just because of the scope of it.
Yeah.
And it's not like I do things to impress other people, but that does impress people.
Right.
But I just enjoy the collaboration on set and making a film come to life and a project come to life. It's just really,
No,
it's
I get
rewarding.
One of my favorite things about working in like film is it's exactly that. It's you bring in an idea, a world of something that like people have no clue about, who
Right.
have like who would never otherwise think of, and now it's there, and it's just you show everybody a whole universe, in a way honestly like a mind of somebody who's worked on this project, and all the actors that bring in the life to that world, that story, and it's an
Like you've
incredible
got something from nothing. Literally.
You've got something from
just
nothing.
a figment of your imagination
Exactly.
that sprouts into a thing.
thing. Exactly.
Yeah, but it takes so much work, and I think audiences are so quick to criticize and
Yeah.
judge and say, "Oh, that was bad," but they just don't know how much effort and work went into even making a film that may not be the greatest,
Yes.
but still is a labor of love.
Yes, I do have like, if I may, some reservations on that question, because like, I think there are multiple aspects to this. One, it's like arts education, first and foremost, like being able to like get an audience to appreciate a thing just like on its own merits, regardless, even outside of the quality question. Then it's also like, I think like audiences do like, well, not to say that everyone does, but like people do want to know, and venues, for better or worse, venues like Instagram and stuff like do give that to them if they want. I know you got to watch out with like misinformation, et cetera, but like
Sure.
people, that information is increasingly becoming out there, especially when one, people are curious as to how like behind the scenes of all of that works, and two, how that gets leveraged to be able to get people either excited about the individual like project or actor, or even just like maybe want to do that kind of work themselves. So as far as the question of like quality, like Sure. I mean, yeah, we can we can be like, yeah, the maybe they should be more, you know, I guess for lack of a better word, like respectful or mindful or something. But like
Or
we
just
do
even take a step back.
Sure,
and like
sure.
you said, look
Yeah,
at it
my-
for what it is and not maybe compare it to the best film ever.
Sure, but the flip side of that is like we get the audience that we get, right? And we do have to also ask ourselves like questions of like, yes, marketing like tailoring to a particular like niche demographic or whatever, or if it is aimed at a broad demographic, like the audience is the audience. Like I don't know. I'm
But that's
generally
even-
disinclined to like chastise them too
I-
much.
I'm not chastising. I'm just saying, with social media, people are so quick to be like. I think people are more likely to be comment negatively than positively on a lot of things. But the problem is even getting that audience in the first place because there's so much content. What is everyone's thoughts on that?
It's getting the audience in the first place. Well, so this is where I think like I kind of like agree and disagree with the two of you. Is to get the audience, you have to have good content, and making a good film, people are not going to appreciate it if the story does not line up well, if there's like a lot of issues within the final production of it. Then people are not going to appreciate it. You're not gonna get the audience for it because of that. But then if you do something that comes out as a good story, that has good actors, that has like it's gonna be probably grasped much better and held much higher by the audience, which I like. Yeah, I get the. Show appreciation to the people who worked on this because it's always a tough thing. A lot of people take it for granted of like how difficult things could be in like filming and how much like effort and work goes into the project. But at the same time, if you're putting in that much effort, why not put in that much more to make it a good thing, And that's kind of where like I would go on with this.
Yeah, I mean, also like the current audience is not the only audience that exists. So it's for all of time essentially. As long as the item exists and can be viewed, it will continue to be judged. Right, it will continue to be judged in that sense.
Well, I feel like we're kind of letting you off.
Yeah, no, definitely.
fine.
What are you
That's
thinking
fine.
about this?
So you're talking about the audience. I think nowadays there is like a new problem of like who goes to the movie theaters and watches movies anymore? There's so much.
I think it's
So
about-
many people are just staying home.
It's about
you know?
the audience appreciation
Well, it
for
doesn't-
for films, for like
Yeah, it doesn't have
whether
to be
good or
a.
bad.
It doesn't have to be a movie film. It could be a streaming project or an independent film or a YouTube film.
Yeah. But then there's the problem of how do you know who's watching? You know?
It just
Right.
based off of the ratings that you'd get, like
Metrics.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, like let's say you work on a short film, and you release it, and like you get like, that one, be it like highly praised, right? And then you make another one, and then you get one that just like a lot of people hate it. We're in the thing of like, should those people hate the second one as much as they did because of how much effort it took on it, or should you do, or should they still appreciate it because it took a lot of effort onto it?
I'm sorry, could you?
I mean, like if we establish that like it takes, I think we can safely establish that it will take a lot of work regardless of whether the outcome is like whether we have a good film or not. Like it still takes a lot of work regardless. So as a general rule, I'm disinclined to only focus on like the amount of work it required to do a thing, because that's a whole other question as to like, okay, as to like conceptual art and all of that, like this like basically if we're saying that like that whole project of like, okay, this took a lot of labor to do, there's a craftsmanship component to it, then we're retreating to that, like to that prior question of like, okay, like basically right before we had like what we call contemporary art, like before the avant-garde, like we were still dealing with like those older questions of like craftsmanship and stuff, like whereas with avant-garde art and like contemporary art, we're adding that like socio-political dimension of like, okay, what is the artwork's place, like broadly speaking, but that's that's far
Yeah,
afield.
we're good.
I do want to ask though, like, okay, Ruth, is there any particular thing like you're working on right now that you can talk about? Or?
I did 2 projects this month. I was in a music video for an artist I cannot yet name until the video releases, which
Okay.
should be later in the month.
Okay.
And I worked on a feature film on the 14th.
Oh wow.
So
Nice.
I had 2 scenes.
Can you can't talk about
I'm
it
not
either? or no?
sure.
Okay.
I mean, they're finished most of the principal filming, but they still have some pickups and a couple other scenes to do.
Right.
But yeah, so grateful for opportunities and more credits.
Before you ask me, actually, the director for the film that we're supposed to be working on just walked in right now, and I want to actually bring him in here and
We'll
like
snag him.
so he can speak on
Sure.
his project.
Yeah,
okay?
that's fine.
All right, I'll be back in just 1 minute.
Okay.
I just don't know if a lot of the audience knows how competitive acting is these days and just how hard it is to even get roles because of the numbers of submissions for every role and then how many people are called in to audition. So
Yeah,
that's why I'm always grateful.
It's a curious thing because like even when I was doing like my student films, like I would go through the process of like in class, like I was they had me like go through backstage and be like, okay, go reach out
Right.
to actors, go do this thing, right? And yeah, I got an obscene amount of submission, even though it's all delineated, like no one's doing any deceptive stuff. Like it's a student film. There's like it's a student film, like. But yeah, there were a lot, like hundreds of submissions that I had to wade through and then be able to then like make some kind of educated guess as to okay, I'm gonna bring these couple of people on to be able to do this like student role.
Yeah. But actors want to act is the thing, and it can be hard even when you have agents to get enough opportunities depending on what's filming in the region or other markets or a whole host of different things. So it's just fortunate when people are getting hundreds of submissions and maybe only taping 30 or 40, maybe 50 to even get it in the room, as they say. So grateful.
Yeah. And Ethan, right?
Yep.
So is there any particular thing, like I know you mentioned like doing coursework, etc., but like is there anything you have going on in like right now, anything you're
Right now I'm working on I'm actually working on a lot of like music right now, like just learning how to make a good song. I don't know, it's been something that I kind of just creatively I kind of just do what I passionately feel at whatever time, which is nice, but I'm looking to get involved in more things. But yeah, I've been doing making some songs.
Okay. Then you mentioned earlier about like perhaps wanting to move into directing. Or can you elaborate like on that and like?
I've just always I have a lot of ideas for films, so I think directing would be the way to make those real.
Oh, you're stepping away, Ruth.
Thanks for having me.
Oh.
I think other people are coming
Yo,
for
just
the cheers.
where can people find you?
Oh, people can find me at ruthtalks.com. That's my website, or Ruth Kaufman on Instagram. Thank you so much.
All right.
So it seems that he's a bit camera shy right now.
That's
I
fine,
can't get
that's
him on
fine.
here, right? No, he good man and everything. He has a Russian accent, and so like
No,
he's like
that's fine.
self-conscious a little bit about it.
That's fine, that's fine.
But he does have a great story, and like I really want him to pitch it because he's gonna be so much better at it than like me talking about it, because it's his story. But basically how it goes is it's a group of like what I believe are like young adults driving down pull up somewhere and are now playing Russian roulette, and it ends up with like two of the guys over there who I guess they become close friends. One of them is a homosexual man, and the other one is a straight man, and like they kind of so the straight man has like respect love to the gay man, and the gay man is in love with the straight man, and it becomes like a thing of like what's gonna happen within this game, who's gonna survive this, and how is it gonna end with them two. And I mean, that's pretty much it. It's like a 25-ish minute short film, and yeah, I mean we're still very early in pre-production, and we're trying to set up everything. I'm trying to figure out what I can do for like maybe to bring in like revenue so we can work on the project. I was actually thinking about maybe doing like a silent auction if anybody has any advice on that, because I've never done one before, but I'm trying to set it up and everything right now. And he has a demo reel of things that he's worked on. He's a great director. His name is Arkady. I always forget. I always ruin the last name. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. But an amazing director from Russia. He's won multiple awards in Russia for his filming skills, and now he's in the U.S. trying to do something big over here. Incredible work, incredible art, and if there's a way that like I can probably post like some of his work or something like that, I don't know. Would you be able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, do you have are you in the Discord server now or no?
I don't have the Discord server anymore. I used to have it. I switched my phone and everything like that, and never downloaded like anything that I had on my old phone on here. So no, I don't have it at the moment. But would there be a way that we can like? Yeah.
You got Instagram?
I do have Instagram.
All right, tell the folks where we can find you on Instagram, and then you can also you can like DM me on there, and then we can go from there too.
Okay. All right.
All right. So
gotta make what is it? No radio noise or whatever, right?
oh, that's fine. Just let me know what.
So this is on Discord.
Yeah. So they have a Discord over here. For
Where am I being streamed to?
YouTube.
Okay.
Okay, so what's your what's your handle on Instagram?
Mo then meets the eye. Mo then meets the eye. I don't know if like I is like one word or not. The eye is one like I don't know if there's like double E. I don't think there is. That's it. That's the one. But let me call him up here and see like maybe he can like add in like a website or something like that we could use. Or I don't know exactly what he wants me to send over, but he did ask me to do so.
Yeah.
Well,
Send the stuff over. You can DM me, and then I could also like do a write up right now,
Alright.
after, and then.
This is it right here.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so I have to request to.
Yeah.
There you go. Give me just 1 second.
Yeah.
Here. Oh.
You got Instagram, Ethan?
I do. I do.
I don't know if you want to tell people.
You can follow Lava Care Productions. It's LAVACARE Productions. That's my Instagram. So if you want to follow it, it's your choice.
Okay.
You won't be able to show it on the laptop like this. So there you go.
All right.
Hold on. You're gonna have to sit down now.
I'm a little bit afraid my English.
No, you're gonna be okay. You'll be okay.
You should be okay, but
I have here 2 minutes demo reel of my free full language accent which I shot in Europe.
I don't know if you're like.
And this is really good.
Is there? Arkady, you don't. So what he's gonna do is, if we can send it to him. Can you post it up there or what? How would this work?
I mean, okay.
Here,
You mind if I pause
hear
this? You mind if I pause it?
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Let me pause it.
Okay.
Okay. So just send me a link. Like,
Okay.
is it already uploaded?
Yeah.
Like,
So do you have a link to it?
If I have Wi-Fi here, because I have no Wi-Fi here.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Then, did you send me the reel on
your
on
email
email,
address.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got it. I got it. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Then yeah.
Sorry
send
about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, just send that over, and then that'll be right.
And. All right. How the hell do I send things?
Sorry, I can't hear you. It's hard to hear you, Ethan.
Can I just pop back in here anytime?
Yeah. I mean, there may or may not be other people, but yeah, you can come back.
So,
Yeah, you have another thing. Or something?
if this is the reel right here, it's the bottom left one, right?
Okay.
How do I send that over? Because I don't know how to do these things. So
All right. Let's.
I'm not very technologically savvy like that. You know?
There we go. Okay. So the way we're gonna do this is I'm just gonna have you forward it to my email. So
Okay.
I'll just type in my email on here and then.
All right, perfect. You see, however it is to get it to work, he's been very excited to show this reel for like a very long time, and it's honestly very understandable. Like I said, great director, but he also like. So we were going to try to film it up actually earlier today on the screen, but because of partly because of the podcast and partly because of there's like a game going on that we weren't able to show it today. So I figured this might be a good way for people who might want or might be interested in checking it out. They could probably check it out this way, and maybe in a couple weeks, I believe we're talking about maybe the 4th, we'll be back over here. And we might show the reel to everybody who might want to see it. I'll have to probably download Discord to see what people say about it also.
All right. Let me make sure I got it here.
It's being. He's gonna send it right now. He's gonna upload it. You want to sit down? Come on, sit down for a little bit. I promise you, it's not gonna be a thing. No, like that.
It's not video. Audio, just audio.
You don't want
Oh,
video.
I see.
I think there's a video right
I'll
there.
probably have to set it up after the fact because it's like a Google Drive link and everything. So that's fine. I'll set it up after the fact. That's fine.
All right.
That's fine. Here.
So it's not gonna work right now, but
But-
then maybe later on.
Yeah. I'll have because I'm gonna do a write up anyway. So
Okay.
we'll get people to look at it and be able to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So.
But I got the link though, so it should be good too.
So it's not gonna work. It sent to me, right, and I sent it over to him. You sent it to him an email, right? Yeah. So it sent over to him. He has the reel with him. Huh? Yeah, he just cannot do it right now. It'll have to be later time done. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least the people will be able to check it out right now, and it might be okay. Okay. But I don't know. Do you want me to call like the next people up here?
I mean,
like,
it's just whoever.
whoever, just people randomly rotation come up
Yeah.
here. Okay.
Okay, so here's a question for you. So
Yeah.
okay, so this is the main thing like you're working on right now.
No, it's
Okay,
not.
so you have other stuff.
Yes, I do.
All right. I don't know if you're able / willing to
So
talk
no,
about.
I
all
can,
that.
I can talk about the other things too.
Okay,
This,
okay.
so this right here was no, it's gonna be like a project after the next one that I'm talking about. We're just
Okay,
like
okay.
in like very early like pre-productions, trying to figure out
Right.
all that stuff with it, right? But we are about to start up very shortly a short film called something literature. I can't remember exactly what it was. Awful with names. Really, really awful with names. Well, anyway, it's supposed to be kind of like a love letter to like what is it? Scream, the slasher film. But like it's well, I don't want to say like a love letter, but it took a lot of inspiration from it. And this the writer Kevin Baker had written it, and he wanted to he wanted to kind of like show an exaggerated story of like something that he had experienced at some point. So he was like in the military, and there was like a couple things that happened, and he almost was like locked up because of somebody lying about something, and then he ended up turning it into like a whole slasher like film, as if like he actually did get locked up for these things, right? It's a very interesting short film, like, no, I'm very excited to work on that one. I might be like the cameraman on there. I think he told me I'm camera and producer on it right now. And then, other than that, I have a production company where we actually also hold a podcast called Effing Around. That's kind of an interesting podcast. It started off as like a heavy cannabis and corruption-based podcast.
Okay.
I'm not a big cannabis person, but that's like one of my friends had he worked in the industry a lot. Another one liked to smoke a lot, and I know a lot about more about filming than they do. So they're like, hey, why don't we just like kind of like do this thing together? I'm like, all right, I guess so. And we did a lot of like, it's like a lot of like stupid things where like we talk a lot of like shit to each other, and like it's a lot of bantering back and forth. We'll try to get like guests on there, but that's about it. It's like it's stuff like that. Like I think we're in the middle of like working on a comedy film. I was thinking that it's about time to have like the next Pineapple Express out here, and so I was like, let's work on something like that. But
Sure.
otherwise, I think those are all the projects that I have right now that are being worked on right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that's my life. Oh, and then I cut here, I guess.
Sure. That's fine.
I don't know what else to say. I mean, yeah. What about you? Like, I mean, what if I don't know. I don't know you specifically.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I mainly do like writing, directing, but like I'm somewhat similar to Ethan insofar as like I'm relatively new.
Right.
One of the things I am trying to do though, like there are two things that I'm trying to do. One, like a more ambitious like feature on like a Latino family, like dealing with like a DCFS, like Child Protective Services case.
Nice. Yeah.
That was like that one's more involved.
Yeah.
But one of the things that's like less involved is like I just want to have some stuff like out there, like as a, I guess, a reel for a lack of a better word, like just to have things out there, like, and I kind of want to do that as like an ongoing project, like where like if there's a lull in like getting funding for my main stuff, I can just do this thing. And the idea of that is like just different questions that I would have regarding like technological progress and just stuff, like someone dealing with current events, someone just dealing with like, and they'd be shorts. They'd be like at most like 10 minutes. Like
Right.
just something to do. Be like, okay, I know how to tell a story. Please give me money. Like,
Yeah, that's the issue though. Is the a lot of like it's the finding the money. I was always finding the money. That's like the biggest thing. But that's why like I saw a friend of mine. He works in like in ballet and everything, and He was producing this like a dance over there, and that's the same thing. That's where I got the silent auction idea from him. Is I thought it was like a great thing to try out. I don't know if you've ever done one before, but like we want to try to set something like that up. Maybe over here too. Honestly, like there, like it was. I've never heard of it before, and it was a really interesting, cool concept where like you get people who want to support you, who don't want to give you money, to donate something to you, and you sell that thing off through a silent auction where like people will just like walk along and they're like oh, I like this thing, I might put like however much into it, and they'll drop down whatever price it is, and at the end of the auction you're like these are the winners right here for these things, and no, it's a great thing, a great way to at least build up something for starting it out, you know. Yeah. I mean, do you have any ideas of like stuff like that, or?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I have, like, as far as that specific concept goes, like, the thing that I've seen. Okay, so I went to this thing back in January, like at main stage.
Right.
Basically, what they were doing is just like they did a workshop, but part of the workshop was also like a suggested donation, right? So you would offer them something like something informational, something that like an audience can use, but also, by the way, like, hey, we're raising funds for this this short film. If I remember correctly, it was like Abby Needs a Friend, or it was like just some short film or something. But like that's also, I don't know how that would work. Like you would have to reach out to them and then and then go from there, and then we can talk after and all of that, like how that would work. But like basically the general, from speaking just like from the audience perspective, is just that one having like something that you're like a subject matter expert on, and then be able to juxtapose that with like community support.
Yeah.
So if you're able, like if you're able to like willing and able to do something like that, like I don't know, I'm not really in that space. Like I'm not really a producer type.
No, but trust me, like neither am I until I got kind of like pushed into it a bit more recently, and now I'm trying to figure it all out as like I guess life is going, and I'm like, all right, so I guess I got to do this, I guess I got to do that, and I'm like, but it's always like an interesting thing to do. Which the donation thing we'll probably also have. Maybe I'll talk about it when we get closer to the date of actually doing these things.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I have nothing.
No, that's fine. I mean, if you're done, you're done. That's fine. I got other stuff that like I can fill in the meantime.
Okay, all right.
So you're
All
good.
Right, perfect. And I didn't want to leave you like hanging with the.
I'll manage. If the people like look at it like, oh, there's only one person in the frame and it's the host, like, all right, I'll skip like 10, 15 minutes, I'll come back.
Right, okay.
I'm gonna go eat a couple bites of dinner or something. Like, it's not a big deal. It was great talking to you.
It was great talking to you too. It was good meeting you. All right, have a good one.
All right, you too.
Maybe next time I'll be back.
Yeah. All right, y'all want to jump on?
Are you taking guests right now?
Yeah, yeah. They're empty chairs. I was just about to say something.
I had trouble with this one last time, so like you gotta.
Yeah, Matt's been on before, but yeah, y'all. Either way, we're gonna have everybody like introduce themselves, and then what y'all do and everything. But yeah.
Let me put these on. This is a great setup you got here.
Yeah. It was
What's your name?
Josue.
What is it?
Josue.
Josue? Joe.
All right. Yeah.
And I'm Matt once again.
Yep.
And I'm Prince Odimegu.
Okay.
How you doing?
And last time I was on the podcast, I talked about a short proof of concept film I was working on called Corner of My Eye. Mm-hmm. And these are two of my actors, two of my leads in the film. And I don't know, do you guys, do you have any questions?
So
a
how
little
did
rusty
you?
at this. Sorry.
How did you come up with this idea, Matt? When did this kind of come to you? What inspired this?
I didn't know you were going to be asking the questions. So 2 Halloweens ago, my friend Kurt Kraus hosted a writer's retreat, and I attended it, and he read a short story called Just Out of the Corner of Your Eye. And it just had this really great concept that I thought, that's a no-brainer. Like, and it was about peripheral vision, and you see something out of the corner of your eye, but when you look directly at it, it's not there. And I just thought, that's like the next Lights Out. That's next
freaky.
It Follows. That's
spooky.
All these horror movies that kind of have that like one sentence elevator pitch, but you're like, yes, that's a. You could do a short film, but that could be a feature film.
You could stretch it, exactly.
Totally. So I just thought, like, I went up to him after we were done reading our stories, and I said, Kurt, we have to make that. And so I asked him if, for a proof of concept short film, if I could adapt it more conceptually than anything else. And so I started kind of talking to him about it, and I thought, like, what about the idea of, like, you're visiting your hometown, and you hear that your friend who you're kind of estranged from, who kind of went off the rails, one of those type of friends. We all have that friend, or we were that friend.
That's a great way to start it, too.
Yeah. And he Prince's character, Clay, finds out from his mom that his friend Spencer, that he's kind of estranged from, blinded himself, and it's sort of this mystery. Are we good on... everyone can hear? Okay.
I was just asking about the volume.
Yeah.
I can hear y'all fine.
Okay. Good. So he finds out that his friend he hasn't talked to in a few years blinded himself, and that's kind of the initial hook. And when he goes to visit him in the hospital, his friend is kind of rattling off some strange things, some sort of paranoid visions that he was having of a man that he was seeing in the corner of his eye. And basically then what happens in the film is that Clay starts to see the things that his friend Spencer was talking about. And it's sort of this cyclical thing that keeps spreading. And so, yeah, I mean, a feature film would be amazing, and I feel like we could really branch out from here. But
I think a feature would be easy from the story you have now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very original too.
It's a blockbuster for sure.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Well, I mean, it just seemed like I said, and maybe I can be a little more braggadocious about it than I would with my own stuff, because it's a concept my friend came up with. But I just thought that is just one of those ideas that it's so simple, and yet and especially with horror, like everyone knows the classic scares. Someone closes a medicine cabinet and there's something behind them, or a refrigerator door. It's like these cliches. Audiences are getting so smart about how the beats as to how to time a jump scare.
They know
these
there's
days.
a formula to it.
There's a formula to it, and it gets harder and harder to try and actually jolt an audience, because their literacy for these kind of things is getting so strong.
Yeah.
And so that's the other thing that really appealed to me is like, well, how do we make this a new kind of way to scare someone?
Sure.
How can we play with peripheral vision, whether it's wide-angle lenses or just how we approach that. So it just really got my brain flowing. And I just love that. I love an idea that just keeps giving,
Okay, and like as far as that goes, like, okay, so we're gonna dial it back a little. Just
yeah,
a little.
sorry, I came in strong.
No,
I came in
no,
hot.
you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
But I was asked, like, let's start with a couple basic questions, because maybe there's some folks who didn't hear that prior episode. So like,
that's right.
Just give them like a quick pitch for it, and like also what stage like are y'all in?
Yeah. We just had a rehearsal here, but basically, yeah. The long story short, it's like I said, it's about peripheral vision, seeing something out of the corner of your eye that you do not see when you look directly at it. And a guy is visiting his hometown, gets a call from his mom on his way back that his friend blinded himself, and he's been estranged from him. But he goes to visit him in the hospital, and that's where he learns about his friend's kind of paranoid visions of this guy that he was seeing out of the corner of his eye. And after this visit to his friend in the hospital, he starts to see the things that his friend was talking about, and that's basically the short film in a nutshell.
Right.
Yeah. And right now we're rehearsing with actors, and I've been talking to my DP, and we are going to shoot this in a month. And hopefully then we will have something ready to go for festivals. And also like I said, it's a short film and it's contained, but it's also a proof of concept to sell the idea to raise money for a feature. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And then y'all have like the funding locked in, at least as far.
For the short, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
I tend to work pretty cheaply, but with everyone, hopefully, getting paid and everything as well, and
It'll just be an honor to do your film, honestly.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
But I know how it is from the other end, whether it's acting or being on the crew or something. I just feel like you got to pay people for their time if you can, or something to kind of sweeten the deal, because it's. Usually my productions don't run too late, but it's just always like a grueling process, and I like being on a set where everyone is excited and happy about what they're doing. As soon as people's enthusiasm starts to go down or something, that just gets very tough, because you're working against the odds. So, trying to keep morale up and stuff is important.
Well, you yourself have been a morale booster. I mean, you
thanks,
keep
man.
everybody going. You light up the room. You really do. I'm
Always
not just
positive
saying.
every single time.
Well, you guys too. I mean, your enthusiasm inspired me and stuff. If people are kind of just like, yeah, whatever, then I'm kind of not as excited. So, surrounding yourself with people that are as excited as you are about an idea, I think is very important. Because you could be working with like top-notch talent, but if they're like super above it all, or like that's not very conducive to making a great product. So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I also have just like some random just questions. Like,
shoot.
One, like, what's the budget for this?
That is a good question. I would say, let me think. Got to factor in like props, actors. I would say it's probably right now like in the 3,000 range, somewhere around there. Yeah. I'm stepping it up a little bit. I made a feature film that I talked about on your last podcast, and that I shot on my phone, and I had no crew. I mean, I was doing everything, sound, cinematography, everything.
Yeah.
And I wanted to prove that I could do it and on the cheap and stuff, but this time we're working with a DP and a proper gaffer and sound and everything. So I'm trying to kind of slowly work my way up to a little bit more of a
It will deliver.
Wait, so you said you did a feature just by yourself?
Yeah. So we in July 24th, I think it was 24th.
Right. That was the one that got to
we hosted at the Music Box. We hosted Film Scene there, and we sold out the smaller theater there, and it went great. I have since edited the film a little bit since the premiere of it, and now I'm working. We're equalizing the sound. I'm working with Nick Richards on that. Once that's ready to go, we're gonna. I don't know. I'm looking into like Film Hub or different distribution options to get it on streaming services like Amazon and Tubi and things like that.
For Last American Possession.
The Last American Possession, yeah. So having done a feature film like kind of by myself. I don't know. Maybe I'm too confident, but it just I don't know. It changes things a little bit when it's like you went out and did it and stuff, and so you just kind of feel like okay, like the elements are gonna throw you all kinds of curveballs. It rained way longer than it was supposed to when we were shooting. All these things potentially went wrong, but we got through it, and you just start to feel a little bit more confident. Not in the fact that everything is going to go right, but when things aren't necessarily going right, you have the ability to, strategize, figure it out, improvise, and I think, I don't know. At this point, I just feel like surrounding yourself with good people, having fun with it, having a lot of enthusiasm, it really makes the medicine go down, Yeah.
And how big is the crew for this one?
Probably still pretty small, but like I said, we'll have a DP and a gaffer and a sound person. So like that alone is like more than I had last time. So, who else is traditionally on a crew? Like,
no, it's fine. I mean, who you got is who you got. So
I hear like Kubrick on Eyes Wide Shut had like 5 or 6 people, and Paul
That's
Thomas
fine.
Anderson came on the set and he's like, "How are you doing this with like 5 people?" And he's like, "No, keep it small. Keep
Right.
Yeah. So if it's good enough for Kubrick, it's good enough for me."
There you go. There you go. And then, as a question, like I guess for the actors, like what brought y'all like to this particular to y'all's roles, like to this project? Like,
I would honestly say the way that the script was written, it was written perfectly, especially the character really, it spoke to me a lot, you know, being through that, especially having friends that have went off the rails, but especially what incorporates what Matt's writing skills, man, it's going to be special. So.
I was actually here at this fine establishment, and I was just on my way out, and Matt and I had a conversation. That was the first time that we met, and he kind of told me generally what was going on in the story, and from there I kind of knew what role that I really felt, you know, where I would fit into, because I've had some personal experiences that are, I don't want to say similar. I mean, I didn't experience exactly this. I didn't blind myself.
Yeah, that's good.
But I have had some, you know, what I believe to be real contact with real sort of supernatural entities of sorts, and none that have, you know, laid hands on me, but it certainly brings up one's blood pressure and, you know, nice little adrenaline dump. And you don't forget that. So I think that that's definitely something good that, you know, or something good has been able to come out of that, having found this project.
And having that conversation with you, I realized, like, you might be good for Spencer, because you just, you know, you already were talking, like, you're like, oh, I had this thing happen to me, and I remember this feeling, and I was like, that's Spencer's energy right there. So,
lived it.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned, okay, so you have the DP and you have basically set up to be like next month. Like, how many days do y'all have planned to shoot?
So we've got 2 production days planned, and we have a hospital set. I'm actually building a hospital set. Originally, I was going to shoot at this one studio, but excuse me, they all of a sudden, like, 3 months just went off the table for them dates wise. But also, the hospital set wasn't that great, and I realized, like, oh, Zap Props, like, I can get a few things here and there, and I already have a hospital bed, and I'm like, I could probably make a better looking hospital set than what they have. So we got that covered, and I just thought, oh, if all my locations are in the same place, then it's just a matter of, like, have we had enough rehearsals? Can we get, you know, through these scenes and stuff? And I think we can. And I think, you know, if this were LA or New York, you want a hospital set, they've got so many options for you. Chicago really doesn't, unless you go to Cinema Space, I think it is. Cinespace, excuse me. But they're probably well out of my price range. And so, yeah, with, you know, Chicago, not quite as, there just aren't as many options in terms of sets and things like that that are in LA and New York. But I'm much more conscious this time about locations and things like that, because there's errors in emission insurance, which, you know, if you're an aspiring filmmaker, you should know about these things that you're probably going to learn too late about. If you want to get errors in emission insurance to get on like a Tubi or things like that, you have a lawyer go through your film, and they're going to look at all the locations, and they're going to say, do you have permission for that? Do you have a contract for that? Do you have a contract for that? And so on my first film, I didn't really think about any of that stuff. I just wanted whatever looked cool. And this time around, I want to be completely above ground on, like, having all of those T's crossed and I's dotted, and so I'm much more cognizant of where am I filming. You know, I always have contracts for my actors and my crew ready to go, but locations, sometimes, you know, you see something you want to film there, but you got to be thinking about distribution. You got to be thinking about the end game, and you don't want surprises further down the line. And so this time around, I'm really trying to do things above ground, because, you know, I went to film school and I graduated and everything, but I didn't learn about any of this stuff in film school. It's only when I made a film that I realized what the actual process is like, and you know, what you have to account for going into it. And so if people are right at the beginning, I would strongly suggest, like, whether you go to film school or not, making a film is your film school. And yeah, errors in emission insurance, things like that, you know, learn about these things ahead of time so that you can save yourself a lot of headaches down the road.
As far as, like, okay, so one, that, like yeah, you have to, like, actually, like, do a lot of, like, as in terms of, like, research, like, figuring out, okay,
yep,
you know, I've had to, like, fill out quotes and stuff, like, figure out, like, locations where, like, because I'm still trying to get like a courtroom scene for one of my features.
Yeah.
That is very annoying. minimum price is like $5K per day.
Ooh, I
It's
could help
bad.
you out there.
All right, we'll talk after. That's fine.
Well,
That's fine. Or we can talk.
well, let me follow up and finish your
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So there's that, like, just generally, but like, what I was curious about, like, was the thing that you meant, like, okay, you built like the set.
Yeah.
How much was it, or like how much was it, and also how much time did you spend, like both time and money, like?
Well, basically, okay, so I got a hospital bed for $75 off Craigslist, so that's just ready to go.
Okay.
We built I don't know what to call it, but like the electrical board that's above a hospital bed and in a hospital with like a lot of different outlets and things like that for oxygen, all those things. We kind of just built that based on, our experience. I mean, my dad was recently in the hospital. It was for nothing serious. It turned out to be acid reflux, but he kind of studied that. He's like,
Okay.
So we knew how to do that. So he helped me with that. And then if you go to Zap Props and you just type in medical, they have like all these things, IV bags and hospital hospital curtains, all those kind of things that make it look authentic. And those are like, I don't know, like maybe $75 here, $50 there. So it adds up, but it's not as expensive as you think.
Oh, that's fine.
And then as far as a courtroom set is concerned, the studio that we were going to film the hospital scene in, I didn't think the hospital set looked that great, but I will give you, and they're not available till September, so I don't know if that
That's
changes
fine.
things.
That's fine.
But they have a courtroom set that is pretty convincing. They have a jail cell that's pretty convincing. So they have other things that you can find, and they're cheap. They're like, I think it's like $120 per hour and a minimum of 2 hours, but less.
That's not too bad.
So I will give you the name of that studio.
Yeah,
I could look it up on my phone or somewhere, but my phone's over there.
Yeah, that's fine.
But they're not available till September, which kind of threw me for a loop. But if you can wait till then,
yeah, I can wait till then.
yeah, they're a lot cheaper than like Cinespace or things like that. So, and they're on Peerspace. So always look at Peerspace and Gigster first. A lot of them are like not great deals, but occasionally you'll find something, and
Yeah, because I was looking at Peerspace like a while back, like trying to see what spots they had.
Yeah.
And I didn't see anything.
Really?
That was at the time. That was maybe like a year ago or something. And I
Okay.
was like just doing preliminary research, being like, okay, what are my options, so to speak? But then like,
yeah,
I'll check again, obviously, because that was a while back. But like, just trying to figure out some stuff.
They also have like a 1950s classroom, and it's just a lot of random sets and
Yeah.
stuff. But like but it's cheap, So I forget the name of them, but I will look it up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do want to pivot like at least a little bit now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Joe, Prince, like what other projects do y'all have like going on besides this one? Like, if y'all can talk about it.
So you can start off first.
I have a few coming up. So I think I have 5, including this one. I have actually my first sci-fi film is coming up. That's called Chronicles of an Intergalactic Nomad. I'll be playing the Nomad. He's sort of maybe I shouldn't say this, but he's been compared to. There's a lot of characters that you could kind of compare him to, but he's not like any one specific, fictional character. But he's, eons old, and he has this sort of, he's very strong. He has these superhuman, not even superhuman. He's not human at all. He looks human. He's humanoid, but he's not really human. And he actually has developed this love for movies, actually, and he has dealings with humans, and he's seen humans come and go, all these different empires and whatever, intergalactic empires, and there's a scene that I really love where he says, there was so much potential for you, what happened? And he's saying that because they've become kind of soulless, and he shows them a movie, and that movie is It's a Wonderful Life. And he's like all like enthralled in this movie, and meanwhile these soulless humans are running around with their bureaucratic craziness, trying to take over everything and whatever. And I won't spoil the end of it, but it doesn't end well. And then I have The Black Cat. That is one of my favorite projects I've done so far, and I was just doing ADR for it the other day. And I've actually never done ADR before, but it actually went quite well. I was a little worried about it. I was like, can I see this scene beforehand? Can I practice this? And he's like, you'll be fine. You just come over and we'll, he had the TV. It was Andrew Pringle.
Oh, I know Andrew.
You know Andrew.
Yeah,
Wonderful director.
Yeah.
And very, very meticulous and very much like just make it happen. He will make it happen any which way. He'll get it done. But I remember he had the TV set up, he had the microphone, and he was over here on his laptop, and we would just watch the scene a couple times, and then I would go, and then we'd watch it back and see, it did, we did line it up pretty well. But that's another fun one. That's based on Edgar Allan Poe stories. There's a lot of different storylines that all kind of cross over.
Did he finish it?
It's almost done.
Okay, yeah.
I don't want to say too much about it because I know he's very like this about it. So I'll be the same
last time
way.
I talked to him, he was like, he got some curveballs thrown at him with actors leaving and stuff.
There was an actor who shall not be named, but he was the titular character actually, and the title had to be changed because we no longer had the character because we no longer had the actor, and so the entire story had to be reworked and reconfigured when we had already shot like an hour worth, and if you've shot a movie, you know how long it takes to get an hour of film shot. But that was resolved. He resolved it via just his writing, and he made it work. And then there's another film I have coming up, which is The Neighborhood with Kyle Bendel. I think I'm saying that right. I haven't met him in person yet, but we've been corresponding over email. But that's going to be over the summer, and that's going to be I'm going to be playing a drug dealing kind of a crazy guy. He's kind of been compared to...
You're being typecast quite a bit, aren't you?
No, well, this is different. He's been compared to Lalo Salamanca.
Okay.
And I said I think that's really great, and I think I can definitely do that. He'll have the same accent, and he'll have the same, similar, way that he deals with people. But that'll be another fun one. And then The Hive with Cambry Williams. That is... I won't say too much about that one, but it's a supernatural horror thriller, and it's definitely not like anything I've done before. And they actually shot some of it at my house. Cambry and I, were talking for a while, and I said, I can get you some woods. I have woods behind my house, and I've had people shoot there before. But that one, I'm playing the sort of older cousin, legal guardian to this girl who comes to have some dealings with some supernatural entities, and I actually just recently got promoted from actor to assistant director on that project. There was a little bit of chaos going on, and now I'm gonna do a little bit of research and become prepared for that. I've been on enough sets, I guess, to figure it out, but we'll make sure we're locked in and ready to go by that time. But yeah, that's all of them that are coming up now.
You've been busy.
Sure. So, Prince. So I have one upcoming film. It's called For One's Love in Los Angeles, California.
What's it called?
For One's Love.
Okay.
It's by Matthew Dean. This is crazy.
You only work with
But basically,
Matt.
I'll be playing basically a brother and a sister. So the movie's about a brother and a sister that they grew up in a bad environment. And there's a drug dealer that obviously wants his sister to basically work under his operations, and I'm the brother that's basically telling her like, yo, you can't do this, you're just not it, and basically trying to protect his sister from the drug dealer in his operation. So it's a good movie, it's a good short film that's coming up, so can't wait
to see it
for sure.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna close this out with there's one more group we're trying to get
for sure.
But yeah, just what are y'all socials? Where can people find y'all?
It's the man. It's the man.
Last time I was on this podcast, I said I'm not on social media because
Right,
it ruined my life.
Correct.
Nothing's changed, but I think after this, I'm going to keep it profesh, though. If I'm getting on Instagram eventually and everything, it's going to be strictly promotional.
Right. Just corporate.
Yeah, the vacation pictures, no. I just
No.
can't do it. I can't
Those
do
are
it.
for you.
Yeah, I don't know why. It works for other people, but it doesn't work for me. I don't know. I guess I'm too real.
Those are for you, for your friends, for your partner, whomever. Those are for them. Those are not for the world. That's fine.
It's tough.
Keep it profesh.
So you can find me at Prince, so PRINCD .ODIMSS on Instagram. And yeah.
My Instagram is Chicago Joe _. Chicago Joe _. and you can check that out. I'll be posting, when things release. If anybody wants to see any of these wonderful films that I've had the opportunity to do, so go ahead and give a follow. I'll follow you back.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming on, y'all.
Thank you, Josue.
It's a great setup. Yeah. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, likewise. How you doing?
The heat. Yeah, these are my two actors for my next film.
Oh, it's a YouTube link. I don't know if you're on the Discord server or anything. Okay, so I'll just like.
Yeah, give me your phone number, yeah?
Yeah. Just add me. Is that your number? Yeah.
You gonna jump in with us? All right.
Yeah.
You go right here, Rob. You good to hear? All right. We good?
Yeah, come on. All right.
I'm gonna knock this one.
We're back with the cans. We're back with the cans.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
All right, y'all are gonna close out the show. We're gonna.
Oh heck yeah! Look at this. All right, yeah.
It's gonna go like last time.
Well,
yes.
the meter's gonna like run out at 9 o'clock. So.
There you go.
And I don't have another $5 to add to the meter.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah, I can't feed the city no more. How you doing, my friend?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
All right,
okay.
good. Again, dude. Again, we always love what you're doing here, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It's really cool. I actually the first time I was on, watched that, cut that. I was like, got to share that. So beautiful job that you're doing this. Absolutely love that. So.
All right.
So yeah.
Just everybody introduce yourselves. Like I know some like both you and Kyle were here last time, but like
yeah.
Just everybody introduce yourselves.
So I'm Nigel David. I'm a director, filmmaker. We're working on some projects and. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm Rob. I'm an editor.
Gotta get close.
Make sure
you gotta get right into it.
Yeah, I'm Rob. I'm an editor. I'm fairly new to Chicago. I, just started meeting people here. Been working with Nigel on some stuff recently.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rob is absolutely amazing. I mean, it's amazing editor I met. And again, like these places like this, you meet the right people at the right time. And I actually met Rob here. And just out of the blue, and I heard his accent right off the bat, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna love my name because I have an English name.
Yeah.
And then it turns out, everybody I've ever talked to from over the pond has like never known where Banbury is, and that's where my dad, my mom, they made me. So I wanted, depending on which cult you want to talk to, when you were born, So if that was the case, I was kind of made in Banbury. And I was like, dude, have you ever heard of it? And he's like, yeah, it's like a couple towns over from you or something.
It's not too far, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like...
Wow. The UK's close, right? So.
Yeah. So we met, and then we started talking, and I was telling my ideas. And sure enough, man, I mean, this kid's amazing right here. I just called you a kid. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you a kid.
Do it. It makes me young. It's good.
And then I'm not exactly sure his name.
Kyle, K-Y-L-E.
Kyle.
Yes.
Okay, yes, Kyle.
Yes.
That goes back.
So, so we wanted to jump on, because again, this always gets seen and everything. We love what you're doing. So we're doing Midnight Owls, which is a short film. I talked about it before. So actually been meeting, got a lot more of it shot. So I'm pretty much about a little over 3/4 done with it. And again, I met Rob here, so I'm actually able to send him the stuff. And we're actually going to be watching some clips of stuff I shot he hasn't seen yet. Because this guy right here is my second eye. Like, I showed him like the first cut of that, and he's like, "We should do this, this, and this." Because this guy's an editor. I'm not an editor. I'm just a film. I'm just a guy that directs. And he saw that. I'm like, yeah. And I did it, and it's like, boom. And then we're also working. I'm sorry, I just rambled, don't I?
No, you're fine. You're fine. I did want to just like very quickly.
Oh, sorry.
Just like because there may be an overlap. There probably will be an overlap, but just like it may not be 1-to-1 in terms of like who's seen the prior episode and who's seen this one. So just tell people like briefly like what Midnight Owls is about.
Which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Midnight Owls is basically a psychological psychedelic horror movie. It's based on so the slasher genre is pretty much played out, and it's always kill, flashback, kill, flashback. Where I'm looking at it a little bit different. I'm doing the flashback, then the kill.
I see.
You know, so he's kind of turning it up and turning it around a little bit. So it's not your typical. So I have my character Sinister Sam, and he goes through a thing, and it's about what makes because everybody wonders. You know, serial killers. Everybody's like, well, what made John Wayne Gacy do what John Wayne Gacy did? Well, if you go back and look at the documentaries, it's a factors of things that happened. And again, so it's kind of an underserved film type trope, you know, to a point. And so I kind of went with that to do that, and it's been absolutely amazing. Again, meeting the right people at the right time. So my actors, we live not too far from here, Brian Voiles and Nora Willie and Paige Marie, and they're fantastic, first-time actors, and just killed it all the way around. Okay. And so we're working on that, and then we have another project. It's a comedy. So as far as away from the horror I go is the comedy. And again, this is where Rob comes in because he's all about the comedy, you know. So we shot a start of a movie for Lucinda, and I'm giving him the footage, and he's taking care of it. That end of it, I'm shooting it, he's editing it, and it's, you know. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does and everything. And again, I'm sorry, I really do ramble, Kyle. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Rob will literally tell you. He'll whisper to you. He goes, "This guy really freaking rambles a lot."
Yeah, I don't care. That's fine. You know, I'd say, sell yourself. You know, hey, I'm here to listen. I got headphones on, not just
right?
a microphone.
The cans. You got to do the cans. You got the cans on the ears.
Yes, I do. We all do. Look at these. These are huge.
Right?
God damn.
Seriously, I feel
they might as well be cans.
Right? I feel professional. I totally do.
Exactly.
Most unprofessional person this guy is me, but you know.
I don't. You're rocking the mic really well. So. It's like you've been on radio before.
Well, yeah. Hey, we're live from the Arrogant Frog. It is Wednesday night. It is Film Crew night. Yeah. So I do actually. I grew up on radio. So Wolfman Jack. You know who Wolfman Jack is?
Yes.
Right on.
I just rewatched a long time ago. I watched American Graffiti.
Oh, beautiful music.
I had the soundtrack. And then I love to watch like reactions on YouTube, and I just recently watched somebody reacting to American Graffiti. So Wolfman Jack was on American Graffiti.
Oh, absolutely.
He was in actual life. He was a DJ, but he was at a station down there, like just south of the Mexican border.
Yeah.
It was what they call the superstation, where they would go. Like their signals would go all the way out to maybe North Dakota.
But the thing with Wolfman Jack was, for me personally, was he was the heart of radio. He brought you the cool music.
Yeah, he did.
You know, like
and that's why they had to be over the Mexican border.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff that he played, a lot of regular stations here in America.
Yeah, long play. They weren't doing the thing. You know, like Dick Biondi around here, he's just playing the hits. Yeah. You know, and that's all. And it was no long play, but hey. You know, Wolfman Jack could put on Stairway to Heaven, go have smoke a joint, and come back. Right on. It's Wolfman Jack.
Yeah. Hey, Wolfman Jack. Yeah. So.
But and I'm a host of open mic, and I do like stand up. So I do. I get that radio voice.
I used to do stand for like 15 years almost. So.
There you go.
20 years.
Yeah, sweet.
So I know how to do a mic.
Nice.
I was thinking like pirate radio. We were just talking about Wolfman Jack, like pirate radio over there in England, where they literally had radio stations out there in the middle
they were
of
out in the Thames, weren't
ocean. They were out there in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah,
in the river. Yeah, they were not under broadcast rules.
Yeah, that was the Peel.
John Peel.
The Peel sessions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean Pink Floyd. I mean, there's everything. Yeah.
It was cool as hell, and I know there's a guy. I'm geeking out. I'm going to ramble here. In San Francisco in the late 50s, there was this guy named Tom Donahue that did, back in the late 60s and the 50s, radio was all AM. There was no FM.
Yeah.
Like in the late 60s and 70s, that's when FM started.
Yeah.
And it was back then. It was underground. It was brand new. It was a brand new type of frequency.
Yeah,
and Tom
absolutely.
Donahue in San Francisco. A lot of the stations that used FM were underground, or they were college stations or something like that. And Tom Donahue in San Francisco, he perfected the free-form radio.
Yeah.
So they had no problem playing 9-minute songs.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, little radio history there for you.
Even though we're at a film networking thing, we're already into radio. We're like,
Yeah.
we're like the
So-
heck with the film industry.
Oh, by the way, there's this guy named Marconi.
Okay. So I guess we should get back to the films, right?
Yeah.
Right, we should get back to the film,
Okay,
right?
so
yeah, go ahead, man.
Where are y'all at, like in terms of the actual like?
So I'm like I think I just did a full shoot on Saturday. Basically, got the meat and potatoes of the movie. Actually, what I call it in my editing thing is actually called meat and potatoes. Got that, and then we did a second shoot for we're starting a. So one of the great things about what I'm able to do, and what this is all about, is that again meeting the right people at the right time. So I met this girl Lucinda, and she's a comedian a long time ago, a few years ago, and she had hit me up at the right time. She's like, I want to do this music video for this song that she did, and I'm like, okay, what's the song? We've worked it out, we figured it out, and I'm like, there's a movie there, because she's I call her my beautiful mess, because everything she does, she just leaves a wake. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, nothing bad. It's like she just leaves a wake, And so I'm like, talk with Rob. I'm like, he likes comedy, and he's like, let's do this movie. Let's go ahead and take this character Lucinda, and so we come up with a blueprint for it. Obviously we're gonna finish Midnight Owls first, which, by the way, the trailer's on YouTube. There's 2 trailers. Actually, the third one I actually need to take that other one off because the radio's. And it's so funny to talk about radio because the radio broadcast actually sets up the movie.
Yeah, wow.
I didn't even think about that. We talked about Wolfman Jack, and actually the radio actually sets up in the beginning of my movie. The radio sets up what the broadcast says.
Right. So you did the main shoot there. Like how many more days do y'all have?
I would probably say we did 42 separate shots on Saturday, just in the morning, and then we did probably 20 shots after that in the afternoon. I'd probably say I probably got another 3 all-day shoots to get everything I want, and then obviously B-roll and everything else from there, and then sound effects. So so I'm looking at basically beginning of August to release it. Okay. So hopefully we'll be on here, I'm sure. As we get closer to it. But again, you can see the trailers on Nigel David Productions YouTube. Also, my first movie is on there, Visible Lies, which is actually entered into being in Cuff.
Okay.
So hopefully, I haven't been picked yet. We're still waiting. You got to wait till July 23rd. I actually submitted this film in November. I have to wait till July 23rd to get a yes or a no. It has been absolutely brutal to wait this long, but it's Cuff, and it's Cuff, Chicago Underground Film Festival, and that's what I want to be in.
Can you tell me, like, I guess this is just 2 separate things. One, the budget, and then 2, what's the crew situation?
So budget. Again, I think budget. What budget is to me is I don't care about budget, okay? And I preach this to the day I die: is that whatever you see, whatever you want to shoot it. If it's on a phone, if it's on a professional camera, whatever it is, shoot it. It may become something. You never know. I shoot all my stuff on my phone. Okay. I have a ton of cameras, but you know what? I have my phone with me all the time. I was on my way here, as an example. I was on my way here down Paulina. I saw this alley, and this lady's walking down the street, and I'm like, I took note where that alley's at because I know I'm going to shoot something at that alley. Right off the bat, as soon as I saw it in the corner of my eye, I saw the little old lady walking her poodle. I'm like, first off, that's an amazing photo right there. And I'm going to shoot something. I don't know what it will be, but I remember that spot. I actually marked it down, stopped in my notebook. This is where this alley's at. Because, again, paying attention. And honestly, to shoot a film, and nowadays, because, again, everybody wants that professional. That was the standard back then. Yeah. But today you can get away with. Look at the Blair Witch. Look at Paranormal Activity. Look at a lot of these first person movies, and they look amazing, but they also look amateur.
That's part of their charm.
It's part of the charm. It is part of the charm.
But
I think so I remember this essay. I think from either late 2000s. From Jia Zhangke. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering the guy's name, but basically the age of amateur cinema will return. And the whole premise of that is and what he defines amateur cinema to be is not just not like craftsman-like, but like less focused on the actual like the pre-professional component of cinema.
Yeah.
So like, so you would actually just focus on the actual film, and you would actually like make it according to your own like aesthetic choices, as opposed to the aesthetic choices that like Hollywood or even just like pseudo indies here in the United States would demand.
But you know what though? It's about making a voice. I mean, you know a David Lynch film. You know a Stanley Kubrick film.
Yeah.
Why? Because it looks a certain way.
Yeah.
It sounds a certain way. The color is a certain way. The shots, the framing, it's a certain way. You know these films. You know a Wes Anderson film. You know a Spielberg. You know these films because again, like what you're saying is, and I think today being able to kind of get away with not being as professional, but also in that it also gives like the opportunity to be a lot more feeling. And not have to live up to the Hollywood.
But like we have like AI slop now. We have to account for that.
Okay, so
like even if we don't like it or we're not going to engage with it much, like the thing that it does is reduce all the complexity of like video imagery to like a specific like medium. Like that's the point of the thing, to be able to do a thing that has no offense to anybody. As far whether it succeeds at that mission is a secondary point, but like that's its purpose, to be able to get to a point that doesn't offend anybody but also has no voice. So that's where the human comes in and creates a voice that may or may not tick somebody off, but like will do the thing.
Okay, so AI. I'm going to go against the grain a little bit here.
Okay. Can I say something here?
Sure, yeah.
First of all, if you're doing something that can be replicated by something that's not even human and not even a life force, not sentient. If you're doing something that can be copied by something that's not even sentient, you're doing something wrong.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But can I say something? And AI is the wave of the future, and you can't stop it. It'd be stupid not to.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of like saying, "Oh, I'm going to try and stop cell phones." No.
That's
it's the wave of the future, and we have to hold on to the future and grab onto the future, whether we like it or not.
Right.
We have to figure out a way to make money off of it.
Well, it's
and make a living.
It's not so much that I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and I'm gonna go against the grain here. Okay, so AI, there's so many different opinions on AI. Okay, but this is the way I look at it. Okay, if Pink Floyd never picked up a synthesizer, would we have Pink Floyd? If Jimi Hendrix never got with Marshall amps and said, "Hey, I want more distortion," would we not have Jimi Hendrix?
No.
So it is technology that is kind of out of control and has kind of an aura about it that is nobody's sure about it, but it's a technology that can be used because again, and some of the animations I've seen of it, really terrifying. Some of the stuff that comes up with, which is actually kind of in itself terrifying, that this thing comes up with these monsters.
Yeah.
But again, instead of really going against it and just going, oh, it's got to be human, it's got to be human. Yes, it needs to be human because it's about human feelings, it's about human beings. But use the technology. Dark Side of the Moon would not be Dark Side of the Moon if Roger hadn't gotten a Moog and started playing with it.
Right.
But I'm not even talking about that though. I'm not even talking about pro versus anti insofar as that. That's kind of I guess a moot point because the thing that you said, Kyle, it's here, so there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing to talk about as far as that goes.
I can also say this, synthesizers still had to be played by humans.
Of course.
Sure.
So and the same thing, AI needs to be played by humans.
Now, granted, soon we will get the Stephen King of AI.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to take an AI DPT and master it what's his name? Rick Wright from Pink Floyd did the synthesizer. So Kraftwerk.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but again,
I'm not against AI
but look at anime. Look at anime. Anime is AI is like a super anime for the most part. I mean, because it's a cartoon.
I don't know if I agree with.
Maybe not.
Maybe it's.
It's along the same lines. You can do stuff in anime that you can't do in real life. Like you can blow somebody up in anime. Like you can literally show somebody getting blown up. You could kind of show that. Is it going to be super believable as a human? I mean, if you got millions and millions of dollars, yeah, you can make it look good. But in anime, it's the same thing with AI.
But I was more pointing to like the pragmatic component of this, right? The fact that it's here requires us to have distinct voices and to make sure that whatever we do is better than the slap that is given.
Of course.
It's required, but it's required. It's not even like, we can get away with doing slap now. Like, we can't.
No, definitely no.
That era of like human slap is over.
Again, going with the synthesizer. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting, but going with the synthesizer analogy. You ever heard like synthesizer stuff from like the mid '60s?
Yeah.
Some of it just sucks. Like, it's just because it was cool. The idea is great.
I think
some of it just kind of sucks.
The equipment back then was so amazing because it was brand new.
It was brand new. It was a new idea, but some of it, because of the humans that were doing it or using it, they weren't good songwriters. Pink Floyd, Kraftwerk, Stevie Wonder came along, took Pete Townsend from The Who. They came along and used synthesizers, and they made it sound great.
You play to a click track. I mean, Pink Floyd plays to a click track. The Who play to a click track.
Yeah, they do.
You're a slave to that machine now.
And also, like the synthesizer. I know I keep harping on them, but like the synthesizer thing, like they got modernized very quickly.
Yeah, of course.
And the same's going to happen to AI.
Yeah,
same's going to happen to AI. So. Going to film work, you look at some of the special effects. Forget about AI. Look at some of the green screen special effects from, like, the late 70s, early 80s. It kind of, there's a charm to it, but it kind of looks like shit.
Oh, it does. But that is the charm of it. That is so the charm of it.
But now we see it now, and it looks amazing.
But you know what, though?
Superhero stuff where they're flying around, like the new Superman, it just looks amazing. Because the technology has advanced.
But you know what, though? I think at that same token, though, I think people also do still appreciate George Reeves being held up by some strings in black and white.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm not saying...
I think there's still a place for that.
There's still a place for it. It's Sorry, go ahead.
No, I wanted to see if you could chime in. Rob, yeah, definitely chime in, because, like...
We're two chatterboxes over here, so...
You gotta get closer.
I
get
agree,
closer.
Like what you guys are saying about, like, it's a tool, isn't it? It's a new tool, and I don't think it's.
You are gonna have to speak it to her.
Yeah, well, it's a tool, and I don't think it's the real. It's not the indie filmmakers I think have to worry. It's the big studios that are putting out the same crap that we've seen, hundreds of times. I think in the right hands, it's going to be a wonderful thing. People are gonna, people are now going to have access to do sort of some of the work that they have dreamed even a year ago or so. Like
we have the opportunity to just innovate, do fucking whatever.
Exactly.
Honestly,
you're going to see some great stuff.
And I don't think enough of us are taking advantage of the fact that we can do anything.
Just speaking for myself. In my first film, I did 44 minutes and 24 seconds on $14.
Wow.
$14 on spray paint. That's all I spent. But I wrote it around the budget of nothing. So my that film, Visible Lies, which is on YouTube now, David Productions, 44 minutes called Visible Lies. Make sure you watch it.
Kevin Smith over here.
Hey, you know what? Absolutely. That's the name of the game. You got to plug yourself. $14 on it, but I wrote around it. And I've asked people, what do you think, how much it cost? I've had people tell me $10,000. I've had people tell me $20,000. I'm like, no, $14. And in this day and age, you're like, $14. It probably looks like crap, but it doesn't.
So we're gonna start wrapping up a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
But I do want to get what essential things now, beyond the stuff that we talked about, that we should have audiences know about the current project that you're working on.
So what the audience should know is that Nigel David Productions is an upcoming film production crew. and we're putting that together. Me and Rob, who's been gracious enough to actually, come step in and do some amazing work for me, and working with me. And so, what I want people to know about us on Nigel David Productions, again, make sure you check it out, is that when you watch us and when you see what we do, what we're doing is from the heart, and we're doing it from the ground up, and the stuff that we're working on, Lucinda, and we and Robert talked about that. They're at the base of this story, this comedy, which is going to be this crazy comedy, but at the base of that story is a woman that had her heart broken, and that's the human.
Yeah.
And Robert brought that up about putting in this heart to this girl. And so, but yeah, I mean, that's what we're about. I mean, we're working on stuff, and we're going to keep you updated. And that, again, I appreciate it. And I'm going to say it one more time. Nigel David Productions on YouTube. I love your face, Rob. The way you're just looking at me like.
That's what I feel like this. But yeah, I mean,
I put the man on the spot here.
Say anything about me? Like I'm editor. I've done short music videos. I'm new to Chicago, looking to connect, work. Hit me up on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'll be here.
So yeah, just what's your handle? Like your at on Instagram?
I think it's Rob W Tovey, Tovey.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and
that's it.
what's your IG? Do you know, is that your IG?
Yeah.
So my IG, Nigel David Photographer. So yeah, just look that up, and again on YouTube, Nigel David Productions. I've said that now 10 times, I think. Right?
Seen them
Yeah.
And then Kyle, tell them your Instagram.
My Instagram is Paris Kyle 4, PARRISKYLE.
Okay.
Number 4.
All right.
And I'm working on a sitcom that I'm writing.
Oh, dude, I'm so sorry I took all that
That's
time.
okay.
No, we brought it up in the prior app, and we'll.
Okay.
I've done several episodes with them, so I've done it before.
Okay.
So
okay.
I come here every week, and I get on the goddamn mic every week.
And again, a huge shout out to you.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Again, you're doing this, and I don't know if you're getting paid or not, but whatever.
No, I'm not.
But again, you're giving us a voice. And again, dude, thank you very, very much for giving us guys a voice for you. Appreciate that. Definitely a big hand for you.
Appreciate it.
There you go. Keep up the good work, man.
Thank
Just
you.
keep up the good work.
I'll
And thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
Cool.
All right.
See you guys later.
All right.